Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Reed.
And we're from Robin Rile Fine Art, and today's Art Bite is about celebrity art collector Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant went on a bender. And on that bender, Hugh Grant and his father hopped on a plane and went to New York, where they attended the Sotheby's auction, which included one of Andy Warhol's original Liz paintings. Hugh Grant then instructed his assistant to bid on the painting, and to his horror, he won it.
He won! Yay! For $3.6 million. So here's the story behind that Andy Warhol Liz work that a lot of people don't know about. So you have to understand that when Andy Warhol did this work in the early 60s, he painted the Liz series between 1962 and 1965. Elizabeth Taylor was the queen of the silver screen. She was the only actress to be paid over $1 million for a film. She had a tumultuous love life. She was absolutely gorgeous, an absolute stunner. So the world was really, really infatuated with Elizabeth Taylor. Andy Warhol, as an artist, and one of his biggest claims to fame is that he was also obsessed with celebrity. And you see it throughout his entire career. A lot of his works will have celebrities in them. Elvis Presley, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dolly Parton, you name it. He just loved to be around fame. So it made perfect sense that Andy Warhol would use Elizabeth Taylor as a muse for this painting. Andy Warhol used Elizabeth Taylor's publicity photo from 1960 for the movie Butterfield 8, in which she begrudgingly played a prostitute.
Also, when that photograph was taken, she was deathly ill. She had pneumonia at the time, and everyone was talking about how she was going to pass away, which fed right into Andy Warhol's obsession, or secondary obsession, with death and tragedy.
So what Warhol did was use his publicity photo, crop in closely to the actress's face, and then he began a series of works. The first series is known as his original works, and then he also did multiples, the lithographs.
These works were produced as a series in a technique which is called screen printing. Now, screen printing has a very negative connotation now, but at the time it was very experimental. Screen printing now means a t-shirt. It's a mechanical process. It's impersonal. But at the time, Andy Warhol was doing it. It was an extremely intricate process where each work was individually done on canvas. He would start with an individual screen and then press that onto the canvas itself. Some of them ended up muddy, some of them ended up very crisp and clean, some of them ended up mottled. He never really knew exactly what he was going to end up with. And then as he was applying more and more screens, he would add more and more color as he saw fit.
So the Liz work that Hugh Grant bought at auction was considered one of Andy Warhol's original works. This is one of the screen prints. There were only a couple of them made, 12 in total.
These were actually originally displayed at a gallery called the Ferris Gallery in Los Angeles. The show encompassed several of these original works, and they became quite a sensation as they were displayed against his Elvises as well. This was combining of two of the major stars of the era with one of the largest names in art at the time.
Just to get a sense of price, these Liz works now, the originals, are in the tens of millions of dollars. For example, what Hugh Grant paid for it. Now, Andy Warhol also did a series of editioned works. They were lithographs that were done, essentially posters. They were pretty much so that the general public would be able to buy them. But one thing Andy Warhol was not very good about, especially in the beginning of his career when he was doing these editioned works, is he didn't really keep track of how many he did. So it's estimated that there are 300 of these Liz works that are available on the market.
And typically when you look at the lithographic works versus the originals, there's obviously a huge difference in price, but there's also a more subtle difference in the scale. All of the originals were produced on a scale of 40 by 40, about 102 centimeters. All of the lithographs are about 22 or 23 inches. The scale is one of the things that you'd look at, and plus the fact that they're produced on paper versus this screen print, which are produced on canvas.
Well, in the beginning of his career, Andy Warhol was not friends with Elizabeth Taylor. Eventually, they did become friends. So his fascination with celebrity really ended up turning into relationships that he had with a lot of these celebrities. Andy Warhol was one of the most pivotal artists of the pop art movement in the United States.
The pop art movement was born out of a conglomeration of commoditization and advertisement combining with fine art. What Andy Warhol was able to do was take what essentially amounted to graphic design, something that was banal, a Brillo box, a Campbell's soup can, and turn it into high art. On the converse side, he was also able to take high art, like works from Botticelli, and bring them down to a level which the masses could enjoy. It wasn't easy to be gay in the 1960s in the United States. Andy Warhol experienced some overt homophobia, so it's no surprise that he turned to someone like Elizabeth Taylor, who became a champion for the gay community within the United States. In 1991, she actually opened up a foundation that helped with AIDS research.
So thanks so much for your time. We hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about Andy Warhol, about Elizabeth Taylor, and about Hugh Grant.